2023 is coming to an end. An absolutely incredible year for video games. So many great hits, month after month, day after day. A high volume of quality games not seen since 2017. It literally felt like there was a new game coming out every single week. And in 2023, so many of those games released on the Nintendo Switch. Brand new games, remakes, hidden gems, all sorts of games were released on the portable console. And today we're going to talk about the ones that shine the brightest, the cream of the crop, the top 10 Switch games of 2023. At least my top 10 Switch games. And with that, here's some ground rules. Some things to know before we go. This game is Switch games only. It's the main console I played, so games like Baldur's Gate 3, while being breathtaking, is not on the Switch, so won't be mentioned, although a great game. Second, while it is on the Switch, it doesn't have to be a Switch exclusive. You will see games on this list that are for multiple platforms. And rule number 3, I had to have played the game in order for it to be on the list. So because of this, you won't see Rain Code, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, or Bayonetta Origins on here. Because I didn't play them. And also, this is my opinion, and you may or may not agree with it. Whatever your thoughts, let me know in those comments to let me know how you feel. And with that, let's talk about my top 10 Switch games of 2023. Number 10! I am just getting into real-time strategy games. Still pretty new to it, to be honest, but I am enjoying them. And a fantastic strategy game I enjoyed this year is Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. 2 games for the price of 1! In this game, you maneuver tanks, artillery, helicopters, troops, planes, all sorts of machinery, and soldiers to either defeat all the enemy forces or capture their base. The commanders both on your side and the enemies have so much personality and are voiced really well. Some of them voiced by seasoned voice actors. I love the presentation of the game and how everything looks toy-like, almost as if you're commanding an army of toy soldiers on a placemat. It's charming, and I still admire the style to this day. It's not only fun, but also challenging to plan your strategies and what the best way is to take out your opponent. And it really was fun to see the different ways to dominate the field. I love the close-up of when the units fight each other and you can see the damage and how each commander reacts in their portraits. I love how there's stories to tie the games together, and it still makes me laugh when troops just fly off the screen. It's just like a goofy cartoon. And let's not forget the powers your commanding officer have, which will not only help you out in your playthrough, but give you a run for your money when the commanding officer you face does the same thing. It can be very difficult for sure, especially those new to the genre. I had a tough time beating the game myself, but it's still a fantastic remake on the Nintendo Switch. And despite all the trouble with it getting released in the first place, I'm glad it got a chance to shine. Although I wish more people would play it. If you're looking for a good turn-based strategy, can't go wrong with Advanced Wars. Number 9! People have been wanting a new F-Zero game for some time now, and in 2023, we got one. One we didn't expect, but also one we enjoyed. F-Zero 99 allows the same gameplay of the SNES Classic, only with 99 other people in a battle royale. Race with users around the world, and see if you can not only survive the race, but reach the end before your rivals do. It takes the idea of Tetris and Pac-Man 99 and put them in this insane racing course, and it can be chaotic and fun. I love how it's so easy to join race after race. I love how you go against random rivals and beating at least one increases your score and your rank. I love how you customize your vehicle, play certain modes at certain times, and spend hours upon hours in Mute City, Big Blue, and more courses. It's a game you can spend a lot of time playing, or come back to it whenever you feel like it in short bursts. And a good way just to make F-Zero a little bit more relevant. It may not be the F-Zero game everyone was hoping for, but it's one that I enjoy, and kinda makes me want to try out the rest of the series. Until the franchise shines again in the future, this was a great way for it to speed onto our Switch. Number 8! I love me some indie game, and one I kept talking about this year, multiple times, was a game called Venba, a first-time project made by Visai Games. You play as Venba as her and her family immigrated from India to Canada to live a better life for her son. During this, she finds her mother's cookbook, and throughout the game, you are recreating her mom's recipes. The game is a balance of cooking mini-games where you have to get the recipes just right, combined with a compelling narrative for the family. The game is short, but leaves quite an impact, witnessing the conflicts of the family, and even having some more somber moments too that can really tug at your heartstrings. Even got me a bit teary-eyed at points. Combine the nice challenge of putting the recipe together with a cooking minigame, and of course how good the game looks stylized, and the food. My god, the food looks so good. I'm always craving Indian food whenever I play this game. It's a simple indie game that, again, really left an impact with me, and I'm so glad I got to play it this year. Venba is a surprise dish of a game you're going to want to try. Number 7! Speaking of indie games, one that truly stood out this year was Sea of Stars. God, this game is such a magical RPG that I truly enjoyed every moment I played. You play as 2 celestial warriors, one for the sun and one for the moon, and also their friend Garl, who's amazing in the best part of the game, a powerful monster threatening the world, and they must use their powers to save the land, all while meeting new friends and exploring new places. The game is a love letter to retro RPGs, especially games like Chrono Trigger. The pixel art being some of the most beautiful I've seen in any independent game, and the lighting and sprite work is truly gorgeous. The story can range from hilarious to even tragic, and the music is some of the best, with some of the tracks made by Yasunori Masuda, which, speaking of Chrono Trigger, made the music for that game. And Xenoblade 3 apparently. What? Combine that with classic and modern RPG elements of turn-based combat with timed button presses, and you have yourself a wonderful RPG. I'm sad I still haven't finished it, but I plan to get back to it, hopefully, sometime in the new year. If you're a hardcore RPG fan, Sea of Stars is certainly one that shoots for the stars. Number 6! What's this? Metroid Prime Remastered is only number 6. It's my list, okay? This was my first time playing Metroid Prime Remastered, let alone playing a Metroid game at all, and I can see why people love the game. The first-person 3D platforming shooter is spectacular, filled with all sorts of outer space environments from caves to forests to temples to underground lava caverns, a winter tundra, all enhanced by the remaster's visual upgrade. Plus, the gameplay of going through a level and slowly getting your equipment back to being able to take on the enemies you once struggled against effortlessly is so incredibly satisfying. All combined with finding lore through scanning everything and discovering everything on your own, it's a great space adventure that combines the lore with the gameplay, and I was so happy to finally try it. Some things haven't aged well, the map can be a bit confusing, and part of me wishes there was some sort of autosave, but while it can be frustrating, it's not a deal breaker. Metroid Prime is a gem of a remaster, and I am ecstatic I'm able to play it on Nintendo Switch whenever I want. Here's hoping Prime 2 and 3 won't be too far away. Number 5! I heard numerous things about Ghost Trick, but until it released on the Switch this year, I never had a chance to play it. The story of a man named Sissel who wakes up to find out he's dead. Oops! And that along with being a ghost, has powers where he can interact with inanimate objects and go back in time 5 minutes before someone dies. How convenient! In order to find out the mystery of who he is and the part he plays in this conspiracy, he must solve puzzles and prevent deaths of those around him in order to truly figure out what is going on. I was hooked on this game from the beginning, so much so that I streamed the entire game, and my god, what a magnificent story. The writing is finely crafted from the plot to the dialogue, and you not only get some unique and memorable characters, both in their words and their design, but you also get a story and mystery that leaves you on the edge of your seat nearly every chapter. Not to mention, the puzzles in each chapter are incredibly creative and challenging, making you really think on how you're supposed to succeed in preventing a death and get through each complicated situation. The music is also breathtaking and can really enhance the overall feel or tone the game is going for, whether it be humorous, tense, or even emotional. And I'm not afraid to admit that this game gave me the feels. I knew Ghost Trick would hit me, but did not know how hard it would hit me. Makes me want to try other games made by the creator. Maybe 2024 is the year I try Ace Attorney finally. Either way, if you're even remotely interested, try Ghost Trick. When it comes to expectations, this game will certainly knock 'em dead. Number 4! My 4th favorite game is Pikmin 4? How cliche! 2023 was the year I fell in love with the Pikmin franchise. Playing Pikmin 1 and having a time with that, but also playing Pikmin 4. And I've said it before and I said it again, this game is a perfect introduction to the series, and probably my favorite Pikmin game to date. The game looks so gorgeous, from the amazing looking vistas and backgrounds to the cute and colorful design of the Pikmin and the rescue squad and everyone else you rescue. The goal this time is not only to save the Olimar in distress, who may or may not be a Dandori-obsessed fuzzball, but also to rescue your fellow squad members and everyone else who stumbled upon this planet, along with finding as much treasure as possible to get all that sparklium fuel. Yes, I still hate that name. Playing Pikmin has never been easier, with not only the interface feeling flawless with targeting enemies and treasure to collect, but with the addition of Oatchi, who can do a variety of tasks from helping Pikmin carrying things, to carrying Pikmin across water and other obstacles, to even fighting enemies, making him a welcome addition to the series. Also, he's adorable! He's my favorite part of this franchise now, and if he's not in Pikmin 5, I'm gonna be as mad as a water wraith. Not to mention all the additional content this game has to offer. From collecting treasure to the underground caves with bosses at the end, rescuing everyone, becoming a master at Dandori battles, even the night missions with collecting glow sap and the glow Pikmin. This game is packed with things to do, and I truly adore it. And it makes me happy it got a lot of people to try Pikmin and become new fans of the franchise, including me. And I can't wait to see what new games await those cute walking plant guys. Number 3! Until this year, I've never been the biggest fan of 2D Mario games, only really playing 3D ones like Mario Odyssey and Sunshine. But from the moment I played Mario Wonder, everything just clicked. This is simply the best 2D Mario game ever made. I love how everything looks so bright and colorful and different, and I love it! The talking flowers are extremely charming and never get on my nerves. The level design shines as it would in every Mario game, but the little things from being able to choose what order of level you do, from being able just to fast travel to any level and area you want, are such modern conveniences that are great to see in modern Mario. This game is weird and surreal in the best way possible. Not only with its power-ups such as making Mario and friends elephants, drillers, and bubble blowers, but with the addition of the Wonder Flower, a flower where once you grab it, anything can happen. Inanimate objects move, perspectives change, the world around you transforms into something completely different, and performing plants. Plants that sing. All sorts of out-of-the-box and trippy ideas that really keep you surprised with every single level. Combine that with being able to play as Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, and more, some excellent music, badges, and fun new modes and level types, and you have yourself the most refreshing 2D Mario game in a decade. I have no idea how Nintendo will top this, because Super Mario Bros. Wonder truly lives up to its name. Number 2! This year was also the year I played Super Mario RPG, the original, made on the Super Nintendo. And even then, realizing how good the game was, I still did not think that the remake would leave as much of an impact as it did. But here we are, with it being number 2 on my list. I gushed on this game with a video of its own, and I'm gonna gush again. The fact that it takes the characters we know from a nearly 30-year-old game and brings them to life with a fresh coat of paint is pure magic. Seeing these scenes remastered, such as Geno coming to life, seeing bosses like Spiritovich, and getting a kiss from Bowser and Booster, wait a minute, what? Are all fantastically brought to life in this art style, which makes me feel all sorts of nostalgia, which is weird because I never really grew up with this game. The battle system is completely modernized, with the timed hit combat feeling satisfying and the introduction of the team attacks. It just makes it all super fun and enjoyable to play. Did I mention the fantastic remixes of the wonderful soundtrack this game has? And even if you missed the original, you can switch between the original and remastered music with the push of a button. Want more? We even have bonus post-game content with tougher optional bosses. This remake appeases the fans of the game, and they truly went all out with making it a great experience for fans of Mario and fans of RPGs. It exceeded my expectations, and I loved playing every minute of it. It's one of my favorite games of 2023, but not my favorite. Alright, before we get to number 1, let's mention some honorable mentions. Mentioning Fire Emblem Engage, a decent strategy game that has some fantastic combat and great finishing moves, and a lot of memorable characters. I did my best to not compare it to Three Houses, as I knew they were separate games with separate mechanics, but even so, I never could finish the story. I know people love this game, and I can see why it has a fan base, but just with all the competition this year, it didn't make the list. Although Sami is the most adorable. Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life. Another game with wonder technically in the title. The farm game where you live in Forgotten Valley, raise a farm, marry, and start a family of your own is a magical, wholesome, and extremely cozy adventure. It has some great farming mechanics, but at the same time, the game can be very long with its chapters and very repetitive. So much so that I eventually stopped playing the game. Still, I spent a lot of hours playing it, so I say it's worth it if you enjoy these type of games. Dredge, a cozy horror game, never thought I'd say that combination, where you play as a fisherman selling fish and trying to find the mystery of the harbor you find yourself stuck in. It's truly a fantastic indie game that makes me both relaxed 1 minute and frantic the next. It has a fantastic gameplay loop that leaves you wanting more, and the atmosphere really makes this one memorable. I'm sad I never finished it, but I really hope to get back to it, no matter how many times it scared me. If you're looking for weird, interesting indie games, this one is certainly one to try. Suika Game, a very addicting fruit puzzling game where you have to group fruit together in order to combine them to make bigger fruit. It's addicting, challenging, and if you're looking for something to scratch your puzzle itch, this one will satisfy. Although it is not perfect, it can do some cheap tricks and can be more challenging than it looks. And those melons can be dangerous. And finally, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. I know this is a DLC, but this was amazing. But it's the DLC we've been waiting for. It's so good. It's new content with both new characters and returning fan favorites. More quests, tons of references and fan service, all sorts of things you can do, and even some new gameplay changes, which honestly further the series and made collecting and defeating enemies more important and more rewarding. It also, despite being a prequel to the main game, does a great job of being a fitting conclusion. And I had a lot of fun experiencing this DLC and all it had to offer. But it is also a DLC, so it's not a new game itself in 2023. If anything, it makes my last Game of the Year pick of Xenoblade 3 in 2022 even better. You should go play both if you haven't already. Alright, I think that's it for honorable mentions. Did I forget any others? Get that garbage out of my face! Number 1! I could build this one up. I could build up some suspense of what my favorite Switch game of 2023 is, but I feel it's such a predictable choice you probably already know the moment you click the video. But whether you knew or not, this game needs to be praised. And I have to say, when it comes to Switch games this year, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is my game of the year for 2023. It's a magnificent entry in the Zelda franchise, and I adore all that it has to offer. I love how it improves on Breath of the Wild and the heavy exploration it does. I love how it has new powers like the Fuse, where you could take any item and combine it with a weapon to make an all-new powerful weapon, using your Ascend ability to reach new places or get back to old ones even quicker than before, to the Ultra Hand, where you can create new vehicles and use them to help you throughout your adventure, throughout your entire journey in Hyrule. And you explore all of Hyrule, not just on the ground where everything has changed due to the upheaval, but also in the skies and even underground in the depths, a dark and creepy area filled with gloom that nearly doubles the length of the game. Solve shrines, explore new areas, help citizens and towns all around the land, all while looking for Zelda and discovering all that happened years ago in order to defeat the Demon King once and for all. This game is truly an epic quest that goes on as long as you want it to, where you could do all the main quests, but if you see something over the horizon, you could just go there and do that instead. It's a whole sandbox for you to play in, whether it's doing a side quest, facing a new monster, or just goofing off and playing with one of your new Zonai creations. This game really pushed the limits for the Switch, and you could spend hours upon hours on this game. I've spent close to 70 hours, and I still haven't even beaten the game yet. And I still want to enjoy it as much as I can, no matter how long it takes. It's a divine game that really does so much to improve upon the first big open world Zelda, and I adore it very, very much. It does have its issues with the physics, and it's not perfect, and I can think of a few other things it does wrong, but it does so much right that it easily is the #1 game on this list. I know so many of you have played this game already, but if you haven't, you are missing out. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom deserves to be the main Switch game of 2023. And that's it. Those are my favorite games of 2023, and honestly, a good year for games, and a good year of covering these games. Thank you for all who watched not only the end of this video, but those of you who enjoyed a lot of the videos this year. This year has been one of my favorites in Nintendo gaming in a long time, and we already have some fun games in store for 2024, and I cannot see what's next for the new year, on Switch or maybe its successor. I'm sure we have some great games in store, and I cannot wait to play them and talk about them on this channel, which I hope you enjoy. I have a lot of ideas for future videos on this channel, so be sure to check them out. What was your favorite Switch game of 2023? Any that I didn't mention on this list? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit the like button and stay tuned for more videos.